Hey, it's Alex from BoardGameCo, and we have a bunch of updates today, and I'm having a whole lot of fun today. Now, timestamps down below if you just want to skip straight to the Kickstarters, because the first minute or two of this video is going to be covering some non-Kickstarter stuff, but it will be covering some giveaway stuff, so keep that in mind. Now, first and foremost, we just hit 9,000 subscribers today, which is, again, absolutely insane. There's a reason we keep doing giveaways. There's a reason I keep doing giveaways on this channel, and it's because I don't know how to express my appreciation other than words, which words are great, don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of words, I say a lot of things with words, but at the same time, I think sometimes you want to do something more, and while, we have a lot of audiences going on, we have this, the comment section down below, we have Discord where you can come talk to us, join the conversation, we have the Patreon, there's a lot of things we have on the channel. But sometimes more than words is good, which is why I keep doing giveaways, because more than words is good. Words are the good things, but more than words are the better things sometimes. But anyways, 9,000 subscribers, I really genuinely appreciate it. It is absolutely insane. And part of that is, and this is where it goes into some more news and fun stuff, part of that is because we did over here a Massive Darkness video over here. In the Massive Darkness video, I covered the fact that if this channel hits 10,000 subscribers by August 26th, which is my birthday, then I will be doing a Massive Darkness Heavenfall pledge. And based on hitting 9,000 today, I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to hit 10,000 subscribers, and there will be a giveaway for a Heavenfall Massive Darkness pledge. So I'll give the terms of how to enter that later, but that's just a general awareness. If we hit 10,000 subscribers, that will be a giveaway on the table. Secondly, an actual giveaway you can enter over here in this Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion unboxing video. Head on over there, just leave a comment. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It could be hi, hey, it could be just Gloomhaven, it could be words are good. I want to see that. I want to see people saying words are good in that comment. But any comment at all, I don't care if it's a bit of punctuation, but that will enter you into a giveaway for a brand new in shrink Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. The one I'm unboxing is not the one that's being entered off, and that entry is going to be good until Friday, I believe I said Thursday end of day. This week, Thursday end of day is your last chance to comment on that video to be entered for that giveaway. Next up from there, I did a video with a conversation with a duck over here. That's this video over here, conversation with a duck, a BoardGameCo interview with Jesse Anderson from Quackalope, and that was this morning, and that was fun. And the reason you want to watch that is because I didn't know this was happening at all. I did not know. I found out when it launched. But Jesse launched a video with a giveaway where you can win a whole bunch of stuff depending on, he has his own details. I recommend watching this giveaway video over here. There's a whole bunch of details of how it works, what's on the table, what's going to be auctioned off, basically, not auctioned off, what's going to be given away. But basically every X number of subscribers is another giveaway. And part of how to enter into that giveaway is to go to the Conversation with a Duck interview and leave a quack in the comments. So that's what you have to do. You have to go to this video over here. We don't have to go to this video. Just if you want to know more, go to this video and watch this video. But otherwise, head on over here to a Conversation with a Duck and just hit quack somewhere. It could be part of a joke. It could just be quack. It could be anything you want. It's all quackalicious. It's all quackers to me. Why does a duck have tail feathers? To hide its butt quack. There's all different kinds of jokes going on in the comments down below. Have fun with it. And make sure to subscribe to Quackalope because that affects how often the giveaways are being triggered. Every 500, I believe it's every 500 subscribers, triggers a giveaway. And then finally, thirdly is, well, not thirdly, we're into so many things at this point. Head on over to Shelf Clutter and hit subscribe. He is just shy of 1,000 subscribers, and I would love for you to basically subscribe. I want to see his subscriber count go up, and part of that is, first of all, he produces great content. I genuinely watch every single one of his videos. I like his content. It's simple, it's to the point, and it gives me a lot of Kickstarter information. I do a lot of Kickstarter coverage, and I find watching his Kickstarter videos where he talks about what's coming out that week, almost every single week without fail, there's one in there that I missed. There's one that, through all the other research I've been doing, I managed to miss, and I end up adding to the list because of his videos. But the reason I'm mentioning him today is because he wanted to join in on the fun, and it is fun, make no mistake. I'm having a lot of fun here. BoardGameCo versus Quackalope, massive board game fight, whatever it is. This is fun to me. I'm now part of YouTube drama, which is, I've been following, I watch a lot of Philip DeFranco, so I'm always aware of the YouTube drama, whatever it is, and now I'm part of YouTube drama, which is absolutely hilarious for me. I am genuinely flattered, and I would love for Shelf Clutter to go over 1,000 subscribers, tomorrow, like after you watch this video, like, or as you're watching, just head on over there. There'll be links down below. Hit subscribe. I'd love to see him cross that line. That line is where you can monetize, which is a nice line. It's a nice sense of achievement for when you're putting out content, and he puts out good content, and I'd love for him to hit that milestone. From there, finally, timestamps, all that stuff out of the way. Let's start with the first Kickstarter, A Smile and a Gun. Forget that 1 to 2 minutes. This is 5 minutes into the video, and we are talking about With a Smile and a Gun, a dice drafting game for 2 players that looks really cool, but I sadly will not be backing it because of the price point. Now, this is a game that Rado seemed to really love it. I know, Rado loves everything, but Rado seemed to really love it, and this is a game that the problem is it has a very small audience right now. It's a 2-player dice drafting game with area control. Looks very interesting, looks very intriguing, leans heavily into the theme. Honestly, if the theme were different, I might be interested in myself. I'm just not into the mobster theme at all. For me, that's a turn-off inherently. Like, I have Godfather or whatnot, the Command game, and it hasn't seen play, but like, if I play it and like it, it'll be despite the theme. Nothing personal, which I liked for a long time, was a game that I played, but despite the theme. In terms of Smile and a Gun, it might be a great game, I don't know, but the theme is not pulling me, and it's not giving me the reason to override, but more importantly, the price point it's pushing me away, because that price point is $39 to get this 2-player area control game. It just seems, once you factor in shipping as well, it seems like a very high price to pay compared to what you would get later. Additionally, they already covered this doesn't really seem to have exclusives. Everything you do to stretch goal wise will improve the game for everyone. As far as the caveat to all this, the caveat is there's not a ton of support for this game. $10,000, 398 backers, that's not a ton of support, and there are no guarantees that this will hit retail or anything like that. So if you are interested, if you are intrigued, if you are pulled in by this game, this might be your best chance to get it, just because with numbers, whenever you have smaller numbers, there's less of a guarantee that a game will end up in retail distribution. It's just more of a risk for any company to take on, for any partnership agreement or whatnot, unless they already have something in place, which is a different story. As far as where that leaves you, for me, it leaves me in a place where I usually ask myself, if I never get this game, how sad will I be? And the answer is, I'm interested in this game. It looks cool. It seems to be well liked by people who've played it, but I wouldn't be sad primarily because of the theme. And so I'm not willing to take that risk or the price point aspect. I am willing to take the risk of not getting it, and therefore the price point is turning me off a little bit. For you, you have to make that determination yourself, whether it's something you are interested or not. But like I said, I don't think it's a good back, with the caveat that it might be your only chance to get it, and with 398 copies, it's not a huge secondhand market dump. Next up, we have Quest Avalon Deluxe. Now, the Quest is by Indie Boards and Cards, Travis Chance. This is basically, Quest is the re-implementation of Resistance Avalon, which is one of my favorite games. While One Night Ultimate World has replaced it as my favorite social deduction game, Resistance Avalon still has a very, very fond place in my collection, and Quest is the re-implementation of that, with changes and additions to the gameplay. Like, one of the changes, for instance, is they are removing the voting system of voting who goes in the party, which to me is game breaking. I mean, I love the voting thing. How else do you stop someone from being bad taking over? I mean, that's such a key part of the project, which is why the main reason I'm actually interested in this game is because they are offering you, as part of the Kickstarter only, it will not be in the retail edition as of now, it seems to be it will not be in the retail edition, they're offering additionally all the components with the same artwork, with the matching artwork. They are basically giving you Quest in a big box together with the components you need to play Resistance Avalon. So for me, that is a huge plus, because while I am intrigued by Quest, while I am interested in Quest, while I am always intrigued by the premise of an improvement upon an existing game, I'm also always scared by what does it mean if they didn't actually improve upon that game, and rather they just made that experience worse. So for me, the reason I am interested and the reason I am backing this game is because the Kickstarter exclusive stuff has the Avalon in the game as well. So not only are you getting Quest, you're getting Quest plus Avalon. Additionally, there are stretch goals, there are additional things being added, so the whole bunch of stuff you can go through. For the $54 level, you can get Quest plus Avalon plus Coup, meaning I'm not backing that because I like Coup, but I wasn't a fan of the artwork in here for Coup. I find it to be a little, it obfuscates the play a bit. I think it's a little bit, it doesn't work as well for me for Coup, a game where you have to heavily bluff and you want to see and know your cards right away. But for Resistance, it works for me very well. I love what they're doing here, and that would be the $34 pledge level, plus of course shipping. I believe shipping was around $8 if I'm not mistaken. It might have been a little cheaper or a little more, but again, depending where you are as well. This is a game I will be backing. As far as the value proposition, as far as whether you should or shouldn't back it, well, ultimately it depends. If you are just interested in Quest, then wait till retail. I don't see a reason to get this now. If you are interested in Quest plus Avalon, then the question you have to ask yourself is the secondary market. Will there be a secondary market for this game? And the answer is probably. I mean, currently we have 1,676 backers. A bunch of them will turn around and sell their copy. And historically speaking, most of the games in this lineup from Indie Boards and Cards generally have been available on the secondhand market cheaper if you're willing to wait and be patient. While I've covered this in previous Kickstarter look-back videos, Indie Boards and Cards are amongst the first Kickstarters I've ever backed personally. But then as time went on, I realized that there was no point backing One Night Ultimate Alien when I can get everything that they were offering cheaper on the secondhand market if I was just patient. That being said, this is Quest Avalon, and Avalon's one of my favorite games, so I am giving myself the leeway of I don't want to take the chance. I don't want to play around. I don't want to wait. Granted, it's a pandemic, so it's not like I'm playing this game anyway, because I can barely get together 3 or 4 people, let alone what you need to actually play. Although, worth noting, Quest is playable with 4, as opposed to Avalon, I believe you needed 5 as a minimum. Quest gives you a 4 minimum, which is a great access point. It makes it that much more likely to hit the table for me and my group. But nonetheless, I'm interested. At the same time, if you don't mind buying games used and you don't really care about Avalon, there are plenty of reasons to wait. I don't think it's a great value, but it depends on how much you care about that secondhand market and how much you care about the Kickstarter exclusives as well as the addition of Avalon in your game. So, a lot of talking about Quest. Moving on to Vinyl. Vinyl is the second, well, it's their 8th Kickstarter, but the second Kickstarter for Vinyl, because Vinyl already came out, and Vinyl is a game that this is the reprint and expansions, and it's giving you a whole bunch of different options over here for different options. You can get the base game, you can get all these expansions, you can get a whole bunch of stuff. Ultimately, this is I don't know a lot about the game. I know it's set collection. I don't know a ton about the actual gameplay itself. This is one that never really crossed my radar as being personally interested in, and there's always so many games, and nothing ever pulled me in about the gameplay itself, but I'm also not someone who's into music in a collector sense. I like whatever's on the radio, and that's about it. In terms of this game, though, that's going to factor into the value question here, because the original Kickstarter did well. The original Kickstarter sold above its value. For that reason, I do talk a lot about in games, which is sometimes when you have a smaller audience, it may not be a great price point, but it might be your only possibility of getting it. This happens in a lot of games. It's just a second ago with A Smile and a Gun. It might happen there. That might be the case there. It's happened with Guards of Atlantis. Guards of Atlantis had this situation where it had a heavy dedicated fan base and not a ton of secondhand market, and the people who get it like it. And so ultimately, if it's not going to hit full retail distribution or whatever, if you're not going to be able to get everything you want, then this is your best chance to get that stuff. And this happened with Vinyl as well. The Vinyl Kickstarter sold for above its value if you were patient. If you wanted the secondhand market, it sold for above its value, and that will likely be the case here as well. This game is just shy of funding. If you are interested in this game, head on over, give them the little boost you need. How I'm always a little bit, not dismissive, but I look at backing Kickstarter from the stance of the value. What makes sense? What should you do? At the same time, I do care about creators, and this is just shy of funding. If you are interested in this game, go on over and give it a little bit of a push, because otherwise you might not see this game. This is one of those times you genuinely might be the difference between funding and not funding, and that is something you should take into account. And as far as whether you want it now or whether you want it later or not, like I said, the original held its value. This one likely will for the same reason, because there will not be a huge secondary market for this game. As far as whether it's worth it, that's a personal determination you're going to have to make. In terms of, you always have to do that. You always have to make a determination of what you're getting. Is it worth it for you? As far as the secondary market, I'd recommend getting it now if you're interested. I would. It's a bit of a toss-up. It's not a great value, but like I said, it's just not a huge availability after the fact. And that takes us to Core Clash. Core Clash is one that I was going to do a dedicated video on this, but as the campaign unfolded, as it launched, as it came out, I realized that this was more spark, what's the term? This is, I can't think of the term, the spark and sizzle, whatever it is. This was not a game that seems to have a huge amount of depth. This is a game that seems to be selling you miniatures and plastics and extras. And I don't mean that in a negative sense. I love miniatures and plastics and extras. You guys know this. I'm a huge fan of Command. I'm a huge fan of all these miniature games. I tend to like the extras. But the key word is, for me, it has to be extra. And in this case, it seems, take it with a grain of salt, it seems to be the meat here. The meat seems to be the miniatures, and the game seems to be light very, 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 very light. Does not seem to be a lot going on here. So right now they're at $66,000, and that's partially because they had a funded in 48 hours early bird where you can get extra dice, and so that gave them their initial funding, but they've kind of stalled since then. There's 14 days to go, 420 backers, and ultimately this game is asking a lot of money. It's $115 for the entry point, and then a whole lot more if you want extras, and that's the entry point that will get you like 8 minis and the gameplay. Now the minis are cool, don't get me wrong. The miniatures, let's see if we can find some miniatures. Look at these guys. These are some great sculpts. They're selling some great sculpts in this game. These are, I mean, if you like the style, at least they're cool. They look cool. I'm a big fan of them. But, and then there's more. There's terrain. Look at this terrain. Look at what we have going. And these dice look cool as well. There's a lot of things happening. And look at the card art. The card art looks great. But the more you look into the actual gameplay, the gameplay seems to be very, very, very light. Not what you would necessarily want out of a skirmish game, especially one with this price point. It seems to be roll dice, assign them to the units, and take actions. Now, don't get me wrong, there can definitely be depth. Sometimes you don't necessarily need a lot of complexity in a game in order to make it a better game. Sometimes it's just about whatever, all the elements, all the aspects working well together. Like I said, in this case though, doesn't seem like there's enough depth. It doesn't seem like there's enough going on here, and it does seem like you're buying a bunch of miniatures. Over here we have another miniature. Look at this guy. Look at these extras. This is $75 US for another mega-sized mini. And to keep looking at these, look at this guy. This angel looks impressive. I love it. $45 for that angel. We have this giant caterpillar. These are cool minis. But the more we scroll down, the more you see it's dice, it's minis, it's magnetic dice, these shield tokens, this shelf to display your minis. Like I said, this seems to be a mini game more than it is a game with miniatures. It seems to be more about selling the miniatures. We have a legacy dice tower, this cool little expandable dice tower, whatever it is. But anyways, there's a lot going on here, but it does seem to be more heavily miniature based. And that leads us to the tough one on the secondary market, because I'm not judging things ever from a stance of what the secondary market is within its own field. If something's an RPG, if something's a miniature game, but not a board game miniature game, I don't judge the value aspect there because it's not the market I deal in. Rather, the market I deal in is board games with miniatures. And in that sense, this board game with miniatures, I don't think it'll hold up. I think you're probably looking at something similar to the Vanguard of War or there's other games in that line, but I mean anything from Arcana Studios, basically, where they had amazing, gorgeous miniatures, but the gameplay was lacking and wasn't loved enough, and that led to a poor secondary market value. I think that's probably what you're looking at here. If you like the miniatures, maybe get it now. Maybe wait and see if you can buy someone's pledge in a year or two or whatever it is when they hit the market and people don't like the game, if they don't like the game. I can't guarantee that people won't like the game. It just does seem to be a lot of shiny around not a lot of core, which does lead me to believe that this probably will not hold its value. So that's Core Clash. From there we have Lizard Wizard. Lizard Wizard has my review going up tomorrow. I did a full dedicated video on this. My review's going up tomorrow. I'll touch upon a few points, but just to give a few quick updates because I have it in front of the screen, and in tomorrow's video I won't. But basically they have more stretch goals going on, so they've added some stretch goals. Let's see if we can find them here. We have, what do we have? 1 second. We have stretch goals. Okay, we have the 20 achievement tiles, we have the larger tarot-sized cards, we have the 4 summoning circles, the player screens, the score pad, the art, the giant wood first player marker, the trays, the spot UV, the 4 new spells, 2 additional player screens, and the full color first player marker, and potentially more to go. The campaign is not over yet, not by a long shot. In terms of what will be Kickstarter exclusive, they commented on one of my videos because in my last video I covered that they hadn't really addressed which is Kickstarter exclusive, what's not, but they have clarified some of those things. So this marker will be Kickstarter exclusive, the player screens will be Kickstarter exclusive, the 4 new spells they didn't comment on, the spot UV will be Kickstarter exclusive, the trays they said will be reduced trays for the non-Kickstarter copy, so I don't know what that means, but some difference in that sense. The first player marker we covered already. The art will be on all the cards. The score pad will be Kickstarter exclusive. Player screens exclusive. Summoning circles exclusive. Larger cards exclusive. And 20 achievement tiles seems to not be exclusive. So that's just a quick overview of what is and isn't exclusive. Again, I will touch upon that in tomorrow's video as well. That's when I'll be doing I'll have the review coming up on Lizard Wizard. Ultimately, it's a game I like. It's a game I have played. I like it. I want it. And we'll talk more about it tomorrow. From there, we have Massive Darkness 2. Oh my gosh, Massive Darkness. So again, reminder, this is the one where if we get 10,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away a Heavenfall pledge. And because of my whole competition with Quackalope at this point, who knows what else is coming? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I need to get him back. I need to win this battle, this fight, this something that we have going. And I haven't decided fully. I have thoughts. I have ideas. I have plans. Stay tuned and subscribe to this channel if you want to find out what's going on next, because It will be fun. I guarantee that it will be fun. But from there, Massive Darkness 2 knocking it out of the park at 1.6 million. But again, keep in mind, this is a Command campaign. This is a big, heavy miniature campaign. And typical Command games always go the same way. And I touched upon this when I warned you, like in my video of what to expect in a Command campaign. And I think the part I actually missed on, I should have said, is expect at day 1, day 2, giant bumps knocking out of the park. And then people just complaining day after day after day until there's a little spike. And then complaining, and a little spike. Generally, these campaigns see a huge amount of funding in the first day because people are waiting. They're excited. Like myself, you jump in day 1 and you're like, I want that Heavenfall pledge. And then after that, things stagnate because that's the nature of the game. Without having add-ons, you're just waiting for those handful of people who didn't know it was coming. The handful of people who didn't know about the hype and didn't follow it. Or those people who are sitting there waiting until the last few days to actually add their pledge because of stretch goals. So they see a slowdown, and that's part of the process. But Command is doing daily reveals, which has fortunately given a life to the campaign because you can expect something new every single day. And there was sometimes they're spread out a little bit, like when they have new classes. The newest one they had is they had a monk show up, which I really liked. That's not the monk. They have, let's go all updates over here. They had the Spirit Warrior, which is the monk class, and this guy looks pretty cool. I like him. Is it a him? I don't even know. Harin Avel was abandoned at the monastery above the Long Valley. Promised a baby that's not uncommon. Monks placed, I don't know, I can't see. When he came of age, it's a him, okay? You never know. So, him over here, this looks pretty cool. He's a monk. They got a lot of interesting sculpts. I will say that Command has gotten a lot of drama about the sculpts they've introduced in this campaign. I like them. They are different. They are not your standard stuff. They're picking standard tropes, but then giving them art and stylings that are different. And we don't always need more of everything being the same. So for me, I'm a fan. I don't love all of them. I don't love the Necromancer as a witch. I really don't. But I do love the witch as being different than anything else I have, and that I do value. So I'll have to sit there and figure out my own things. But they do have another Necromancer too, so keep that in mind. They don't yet have a Quackalope. Reminder to all of you, head on over to the comments, and don't forget to ask Command that you want a Quackalope mini because it's important to you. You need a Quackalope mini. It's just, they can make it look good. They can make a roaming monster Quackalope. I'm sure they can do it. I believe in them. Other than that, they have, they already have an optional buy. Let's scroll down to that. Where's the optional buy? What do we have over here? We have, I don't know where it is. I should probably find this before I do these videos. We talk about this. There we go. The Gates of Hell optional buy for $25. Currently, I'll note, no reason to back this currently because it's $5 cheaper than retail. Okay, great. So you'll get it for $20 later and not pay extra shipping. But Command will probably do an all-in pledge towards the end, or they'll do some sort of stretch goal that gives you extras to this box. They usually end up giving me a reason to buy even these bad buys. Usually, but not always. Maybe this time will be different. We'll find out. I will be doing a full dedicated video on this towards the end of the campaign because I like cool minis. We just talked about this. And I like the game behind it as well, or I like Massive Darkness 1. We'll see how I feel about Massive Darkness 2. Next up, we have the Quest Kids Matching Adventure. Now, this is another one that is just shy of its funding goal. $5,300 out of $6,000. 18 days to go, so hopefully we'll hit it. But this is another one that if you are interested in this game, go ahead and back it. As far as will it hold its value? Nope, not in the slightest. Don't think so at all. This is one that is not expensive. It is roughly $15 plus shipping to get this game, but keep in mind that if you want to buy this game later, that's a different conversation in terms of if you don't like it and you want to sell it, you're not going to get your money back. Just telling you in advance, you're not going to get your money back on this game. But if you are interested in this game, this is cheap and easy to get, and it's a matching game with gamification. What they have is you have this board over here in the middle. Let me see if I can find a better picture. You have, let's see, better picture. Give me a better picture. Nothing. Nope. Here we go. We have the board in the middle, okay? And when you're matching, you match from different areas. So you can match to acquire heroes. You can match to go on adventures, to fight monsters. So it does have that aspect of a typical matching game that is a matching game, but it has that aspect of you get to choose where you want to match to do certain things, which ends up being this nice hybrid of a typical non-gamers game for kids that they might like, and introducing an element of gamifications, which basically makes this basically similar to a Haba game. Haba games get a lot of love, but ultimately Haba games are typical game mechanics slightly advanced to make them more gamer accessible and to teach young gamers core gaming concepts. I think this fits well into that genre. For myself, I won't be getting it because I think all my kids are already except for my 1-year-old, but for most of my kids, I think they're past matching as a basic mechanic. But if you have young enough kids, 3, 4, maybe even 5, depending on what your kids are or aren't playing, this might be a good fit to like give them stuff they're used to, but also introduce them to more gamified concepts. And like I said, this might be one of those times where you're actually pushing someone over the fence. You're pushing a funding goal over the fence. Next up, we have Arcana Rising, and like Petrichor from last week, this is one I'm going to ask you for your help for, but unlike Petrichor, it doesn't actually exist, but they do have a tabletop simulator, so maybe some of you have played it. And the reason I'm asking for your help is because I want to know whether I should back this. Now let me go into this. I'm supposed to tell you whether you should back it. But Arcana Rising is from Grey Fox Games. First of all, just noting offhand, they do not have $1 access to the Pledge Manager. If you want access to the Pledge Manager, you have to back at $5. Take that into account, because we have 14 people over here who either don't know that yet, or just genuinely want to support the project. Could be either one. In terms of the access to the Pledge Manager, we have 67. The Apprentice Spellcaster, which is basically the retail edition, plus a few exclusives that are being unlocked along the way, a few stretch goals. So that's 48 people. And then the main pledge, and the only real reason you should be backing if you're here at all, which is the sometimes I say that too dismissively. In my opinion, based on my value system, you should only be backing at the Archmage pledge, if at all. That will be $34 plus around $8 shipping or so in the US, different shipping rates in different countries. And that's 1,838 backers. And what is this game? This game looks like a mix of Seven Wonders and Res Arcana. This game has elements of both art style, more art style similar to Res Arcana, but maybe not. I'm getting a Res Arcana vibe. Maybe it's just me. In terms of what you get for that Archmage thing, you're getting the exclusive, well, let me just scroll down. On the Archmage pledge, you get upgraded components. So instead of coins or whatever, you have these abacus counters to count your score. You have cubes instead of these cardboard tokens. You have the this player board is going to be deluxified or whatnot. Where did it show that? It showed somewhere. Oh, that's a stretch goal. This player board will be recessed and deluxified. We have 108 spell cards, and then for the basic pledge, you have 6 player boards, tokens instead of whatever, a regular casting board, not recessed. We have 108 spell cards, same number of spell cards, 40 large and small tokens. Basically, same game, just with some deluxified components. What is this game? It's a drafting game where every round, they have a good GIF over here somewhere. Here we go. Not even a GIF, just artwork. On a single turn, players select a single card from the pile they are passed. Then they either play that card, adding it to that tableau, or discard it to activate the spells in the tableau. Now, offhand, that kind of thing, drafting with that choice, I love it already. I'm just a huge fan. Obviously, the game can be terrible because that's how life works sometimes. Randomized moon tokens tell players which of the spells may be cast, so this person's activating their red and or orange spells. You can see that pile over here. And then this cards fall into different schools and types, herbology, blood arts. Hopefully, there's actually a theme, because right now I just see icons that don't tell me anything about a theme, but hopefully you get that feel as you play. One of my problems with why I prefer Seven Wonders to It's a Wonderful World is Seven Wonders I feel like I'm doing warfare or science or building statues, versus It's a Wonderful World didn't give me that feeling at all. They have this card's a military card. I'm like, okay, it's a military card. Wonderful World is a great game. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that was one of the reasons why I preferred Seven Wonders. Past that, after 3 rounds of drafting, players calculate the scores based on the unique sets of artifacts they've collected and their resources. But ultimately, this game has drafting, which is my favorite mechanic. It has tableau building, which I love, and it's all available for a reasonable price point of roughly in the range of $42, which is why I want to know, have any of you played it? Have you played it on Tabletop Simulator? I'm hoping to get a game in before the campaign ends, but I don't know if I will. So if you have if you have played this game and you like this game, or if you didn't like this game, or if you think it's not at all similar to any of those games, I would love to have your opinion in the comments down below, both for myself as well as anyone else who is interested in backing this game. If you have given this a shot on Tabletop Simulator, I would love to know. I will say kudos to the publisher. Whenever a publisher does that, it shows that they believe in their game, and it's a huge plus for me off the bat. I am interested in this game. As far as the value proposition, should you back it, should you not, all that stuff, depends if the game is good. That's what it comes down to. If this game is a hot mess and nobody cares about it, then your $42 or $45 is not going to buy you any resale value if you don't like it, because people will whatever. Maybe sell it right away. I do talk about this. Sell it right away after, day 1 you get it, day 2 you play it, and day 3 you sell it if it's not for you. Then you'll get your money back. And only on the Archmage copy. You're not going to get anything back on... I shouldn't say anything. There's some stretch goals in here. But you will be very unlikely to get much back on the lower pledge level, the $23 pledge level. Past that, yeah, it's a game that I'm intrigued by. They have these exclusive tokens. I believe these exclusive tokens already come. This is an extra set. We have some sleeves. I generally don't recommend buying them unless you don't have a sleeve brand you like. We have a whole bunch of gameplay videos. We have a Quackalope gameplay video, which I have to mention because... Quackalope. We have a preview. We have Just Got Played. We have, here we go, Tabletop Simulator. Can't wait to play it. Stretch goals. We have it funded. We have the cubes replaced with these nice deluxified components, which I'm happy about those. That'll be, honestly, I think the shapes are kind of but hey, it's something. We have 4-card deck of decrees, which are universal effects applied to all players. We have a box upgrade, which I tend to not care about, but hey, everyone has different opinions. We have the upgraded recessed moon board that I talked about. We have more decrees. We have the thicker cardboard, and then we're up to an embroidered moon token bag. But we have time to go. This campaign will continue going up. I'd guess somewhere in the 100k range. We'll see where it ends up, and that's a few more stretch goals. But like I said, please let me know in the comments down below. If you have played it, if it's good, what is your opinion? I would love to know. But from there, we have the Umbrella Academy game, and this is one that I believe you should totally 100% pass on. 100% is probably a bit strong. You should probably pass on it. $226,000 raised, 3,000 backers, and a whole lot of drama. And that drama is primarily around the fact that, keep in mind, this is their first project. This is a mass market title, effectively. This is a public appeal, whatever, which is why it's seen the funding it is. And they have, I believe, Mantic's coming out with an Umbrella Academy game of their own later, but it's going to be more miniature-based or something. But anyways, this one is a card battling game that it's interesting. You can look at how to play it. It does look interesting. But the problem is, first of all, whenever a campaign does this, it automatically tells me that I'm not the target audience. Nothing wrong with this. It does nothing wrong with it at all. But when a campaign does this, I am not the target audience for that game. This is not telling me that, hey, it's on Board Game Geek and it's on Dice Tower and it's on BoardGameCo, the YouTube channel. Some of these are okay. Dicebreaker, Board Game Today, like ICV2, but more of these are primarily more mass market appeal things in general geek culture as opposed to board games. It doesn't mean it's a bad game, but it does mean that that I'm not the target audience, and they probably didn't build it to suit gamers as a target audience. As far as the campaign itself, so the drama is associated for a few things. First of all, these stretch goals are only at the $45 deluxe edition. So if you want that $25 edition, that's standard. Just go ahead and get it in retail for cheaper. Once you pay shipping, get a free shipping on Miniature Market or BoardGameCo or wherever, and you're good to go. In terms of the deluxe edition, that will give you the stretch goals, but the stretch goals are basically, you get a single card every $75,000, which is the second source of drama in this campaign. Basically, people are not happy with how this campaign is being run, but it primarily seems to be gamers who aren't happy, because I think the non-gamers don't necessarily know as much about how board game Kickstarters are typically run, and therefore have no expectations to be let down. In life, it is often helpful to have very low expectations, because then you can't be let down. As far as this game, it looks okay. Nothing to write home about. It looks okay, and they have a collector's $75 edition, and this buys you access to the retail. Look into it. If this is something that you are super interested in, by all means, go ahead and back it. Do I believe it'll hold its value? I don't. I just don't think we're the target audience, and I think that they're pricing it based on the IP and to the general market and audience. And obviously, secondhand market dump in that sense generally is higher. When you have more people buying a game who are less likely to be doing their research, less likely to be actually keeping it, expect a lot of copies on eBay for $15 or whatever. That is basically it. If you're interested, head on over. In terms of will it hold its value, I just can't imagine it will. And finally, last but certainly not least, we have Northgard Uncharted Lands, which I will be doing a review on later this, I want to say later this week. It might go up early next week. I have played it twice over the weekend. I have thoughts, I have opinions. We will cover those in the review. In terms of the game itself, why do I not have anything on this page? Not loading at all. So, in terms of the game itself, he says again dramatically, we have a few updates. We're currently at 3,442 backers, we have $253,000, and we have stretch goals galore somewhere over here. So, we have more wooden first player token, we have a development card, more of the development cards we have the creature expansion, which I think I'm way behind. This is from the day one already. I already covered this when I did my last video. We have more content, more creatures are unlocked, the selective varnish and player boards. We have the Kaija miniature, that's for the beer, to replace the Kaija token in the beer clan. We have another boar clan is being added with its own unique ability and its own unique war chief ability. We have 3 more development cards. We have new creatures join the creature expansion. We have 5 colored tuck boxes, a wooden fame tokens, and more will be coming out. So these tokens, by the way, do matter. I talked about it last time. In terms of the value aspect, I was very intrigued by this game, super interested in it, but the value aspect is it's a lot of money for what you're getting. But the constant deluxification of all their things is basically saying, hey, you know that thing we would normally charge you $25 to get an extra expansion for of deluxified components? Hey, we're just adding it into your pledge. So they are effectively slowly but surely building in the value so that it's a better deal as you go through it. And with 22 days left, I think it was 22, with 22 days left, that means hopefully more stretch goals, more unlocks. You can expect to see more value added to what they're offering, which, like I said, makes it a better deal. That's it. We got everything out of the way. I mean, not everything. This never really ends. We have more Kickstarters coming next week. We have more Kickstarters launching this week. It is a never-ending cycle of Kickstarter goodness and bills to pay and games that both are amazing and games that let us down. And we have both in this world, and it's just part of the fun. Until next time, I am Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo. Again, a reminder to make sure to subscribe to my channel if you aren't already to help unlock that Massive Darkness giveaway. Make sure to head on over to Jaws of the Lion unboxing and just leave a comment, say hi, whatever. That will enter you into the giveaway for Jaws of the Lion. Make sure to head over to a conversation with a duck and leave a quack in the comments. Make sure to spell it right. You could be part of a larger word, Quackalicious, Quackers, Quackerjack, whatever you want, but make sure to do that and you'll be entered into Quackalope's every whatever X number of backers giveaways that he's doing. And then, like I said, finally, head on over to Shelf Clutter. Please subscribe. If you don't like his content, by all means, head away whenever. But if you haven't given his content a shot, and especially if you follow Kickstarter stuff with it, if you're watching this video, you probably do, then he will give you a lot of coverage and information that you are looking for. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from BoardGameCo. This has been fun. Hopefully this continues to be fun. It is absolutely... I've been laughing all day. Quackalope really surprised me with that video, and it's been fun. Until next time, have a good one.